The Coach T Show and the Coach T NBA Show is presented by Turner Sports Training, TST.
I got volleyball tomorrow.
You always got volleyball.
Shout out to my volleyball team.
Shout out to your volleyball squad.
We're one of two teams that have not lost this session. The other team is the team that I left. So
shoot.
We're 1-2. 1-2 in the league.
They gonna burn your jersey.
So I got
LeBron for Cleveland.
I got a little Kyrie motivation going. We actually play them in 2 weeks. So
that's hilarious. Never knew it'd be volleyball beef.
Oh, there's always beef.
Volleyball free agency. You gonna sign that max?
Speaking of free agency, we have tryouts. Let this be the announcement. Sign-ups and tryouts for our spring basketball team. Be joining at a local YMCA near you.
Yeah, we come. I thought you were blood. I thought you were talking about you in the game.
I thought you were talking about GR3
or Team GR3. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, my team's set pretty much. So
you talk about your real team. Your men's league. 25 and over league
team together.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Hey. You know what time it is? Yeah. You know what time it is? Some people are probably like, what time is it? You know what time it is. It's showtime.
Yes, sir. Back again, fellas. NBA show with DG and Zay. We back again. What's up, fellas? Talk to me. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good, man. It's been a little bit while since we've been on. A lot of the stuff happening in the NBA. They had a little bit of a break, so we had time to refresh a little bit. But ready for the second half of the year down the stretch here.
Zay?
Yeah. You know, it's been quite some time since we've been together. Way too long. You know, not been together. We see each other every day, but just on the show, it's been way too long. So I'm happy to get back at it.
Yep, happy to get back at it. And NBA, you know, like you guys said, they took that little hiatus. They took that break. We took a little break. Good thing about it is that now we ready for this playoff run, which is the second half of the Coach C NBA show with BG and Zay. So what we're going to do this week, man, to really get this second half of the season kicked off, we will go through our best of, and that's going to be a little different this week. This week, we're going to do the best of from All-Star Weekend. Yes, I know it's about a week old, and in this day and age feels like a year old, but we will give our best performance. If you guys are anything like me, you enjoyed that All-Star Weekend. We always talked about it beforehand and definitely lived up to it, man. The NBA has the best All-Star Weekend, and I think it definitely proved itself last weekend outside of the dunk contest. So I don't know if we'll have a best performer for that because that was a little shaky. But after that, we'll then do our DG, Zay, me, Coach T. We will do our mid-season NBA awards. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a large chunk of tonight's episode. So I'm really excited for that. I know the fellas are really excited for that as well. And then we'll pick a game or two this upcoming week. What is this? This will be week
19?
19? No, actually, this is the 20th. We're going into the 20th. Right, I know it's going fast. Yeah. So we're going into the 20th week. We are recording this on a Sunday, so we getting back into our schedule, man. Getting back into the swing of things. So, all right, fellas, if you guys are ready, I am ready, and let's start with the best of. And again, let's try to keep it real conversational, real laid back, real chill. If you guys have questions for me, if I have questions for you, don't be afraid. Do not hesitate to ask, and we'll just keep it rolling, man. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, who wants to begin? Who wants to begin?
I actually do. You know, we're talking about the best performances of All-Star Weekend first. I have an underdog performance. But before I get into that, I actually want to ask you guys, we can all agree that the dunk contest was below par, right?
Baloney. That's what it was.
Awful.
What do you all think, like, how should they change
how to improve
the
it?
Format? Yeah, how do we improve it? Because I feel like we've seen all the best dunks
That's the trouble. That's the trouble, Zay. Like we've seen all the dunks. I mean, BG, what you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think that one way that they can improve it, or one way they can try to get more stars involved, is come on. I mean, the NBA has tons of money. Put up a purse, you know. Put up a better purse for dunk contest. You're gonna make money off the event if you bring in, you know, you're gonna make money off of it anyways. But if you bring in higher profile guys, you're gonna make a ton of money. It's gonna get high ratings. So, you know, put up a purse. Put up a higher purse that guys are actually
put your money where your mouth is, man. You know.
Another idea that just popped up in my head. If you want to switch it up a little bit. Because like Zay said, we have seen a lot of the dunks, and like there's not a lot of guys that are going to do stuff that Vince Carter can do, or things that Zach LaVine or Aaron Gordon can do. So it's kind of tough to think of a new dunk, but maybe like a tag team dunk contest, like a duo. And they don't even have to be on the same team. So you could like partner guys up. Maybe do 4 teams of 2.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Have a tag team dunk champion, something like that.
Yeah, I actually heard. I do like that. I heard, and I forgot where I got this from, but an idea was a couple of them. First, I heard people say, unless you are playing in the Sunday actual All-Star game, you should not be able to participate in the dunk contest. That way, leading to getting more quote-unquote superstars within the actual dunk contest. Because again, we haven't, and I'm not leaning anyway, I'm just throwing out ideas. But with that idea, at least you get people that the casual fan is familiar with. So if you do get a Ja Morant, you do get you're not going to get a LeBron, but you do get a LeBron James in there. You do get a DeMar DeRozan. You get a Zach LaVine. You get an actual all-star player that will be playing on Sunday, performing in the dunk contest Saturday night. Again, we're not going to see anything new, but at least you get to see a superstar. So I don't think that necessarily fixes it, in my opinion, but that is something that maybe intrigues more fans. You know, you see a 360 windmill from Obi Toppin. It may be different if you see it from Ja Morant. Another thing I heard was, it was kind of cool. I don't know how it would work, but similar to how they do for gymnastics, or they do for figure skating, how they have, you know, about a 30-second to a minute performance, and you can do all the tricks that you want, kind of having that for the dunk contestants. So within a certain time frame, you're able to do 3 to 5 different dunks that you want to do. You can pull out whatever props you want, and these are consecutive dunks that you're just showing off a different array of things that you like, you know, that you can do and that you like to do. Maybe they're city, or maybe city or team themed. Maybe they're fan themed. Maybe they're like, you know, hot social topic themed. I'm just thinking of stuff like that. But I heard those 2 ideas, which, to be frank, I don't know if there is much chance to actually correct the dunk contest, because again, we always go back to the point. If you're talking 70s, 80s, like a lot of those dunks were brand new to the general public, to the audience. But now, I mean, especially in this microwave society, like we've seen every single dunk, and we get highlights by the second. You know, I can go on Twitter right now and see a high school kid do a 360. That's nothing new. So I don't know how you fix it, but hopefully they find a way to do it. I kind of like the purse idea, BG, because again, I mean, we talking millionaires. So if you really want to get those boys out, you got to throw some money up, in my opinion. Oh, BG, you got something else? Shoot it.
No, the last thing I was going to say is, you know, another thing is, yeah, you know, your idea with, you know, saying guys that are at an actual game be in it, but then I don't know how well that's gonna go, forcing guys to be in it that don't really want to be in it. But another thing you can do, Stephen A. brought this up, and he talked about having a nationwide dunk contest leading up to it, just random dudes. Because I mean, you got random dudes out there that aren't good at basketball, but they can put it down. They can dunk. So I wouldn't be opposed to. I'd rather see a dude who isn't in the NBA that can dunk really well over some average dude in the NBA that is an average dunker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Highlight dunks are highlight dunks. They're gonna get people going crazy. If you get, you know, 8 of the best dunkers in the world dunking off on All-Star weekend. I mean, that might not be too bad either. But yeah, definitely higher purse would definitely bring some of those. You know, it's still not going to bring LeBron out. He's making $40 million a year, but it might bring Anthony Edwards out. You know, it might bring Ja Moran out.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'm with it, man. So anything NBA, again, we know you guys listen to us. So Adam Silver, man, get it done. Hit us on the jack. Hit us on the phone if you need some advice, because we need to be able to fix that dunk contest. Other than that, I mean, All-Star Weekend is a great event. You know, filled with a bunch of really good players doing a lot of really good things, you know, that fans absolutely love. I'm going to start it here. I got 2 best performers, and we just mentioned his name. He was not in the dunk contest for another year, but he was back in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm talking about LeBron James, who to me, he had the best performance because this may be the only weekend, or last weekend may have been the only weekend where he's actually going to win something this year. And he won the NBA All-Star game. And he obviously had the walk-off shot in that game. So, and I know he also, you know, in the media side of things, he let it be known that he wants to play with his son. And he put the bid out now, which was a genius idea. He said, look, anybody that wants me, you got to take my son with me. So if you want the hoopla, you want maybe his, what do they call those? His last tour, his encore, his what do they call that? Where it's like your last year and they kind of celebrate your last year. Coach K is going through it.
Your farewell tour.
Your farewell tour. If someone wants LeBron James' farewell tour, Bronny's got to come with it, which I thought was an ingenious idea. So that was, for me, LeBron James he was a performer of the week for those reasons. Also, he actually got to get away from LA and all the drama that is in LA. So he actually got a drama-free weekend, which I thought was good for that old man. And then secondly, for me, the guy that I picked for the only big man in the three-point contest, and the guy I chose, Karl Anthony Towns. You know, he won the three-point contest as a huge underdog. He beat Trae Young, CJ McCollum, Zach LaVine, like all those guys. So I definitely want to, give major props to Cat. What about you fellas? Top performers of last weekend, the NBA All-Star Weekend.
I mean, I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room here. I mean, Steph's performance. I mean, how can we not talk about that? I mean, 50 points, 16 threes. Dudes, I saw a couple ridiculous shots, or photos, I should say, not shots, because then you're going to think I'm talking about three-point shots, but pictures from the All-Star game. One of the ones, he's in the corner, and the ball's literally halfway to the rim, and he's completely turned around at that point.
Yes.
I thought
It's such a cold photo, man. I mean, he's literally a threat when he crosses half court. And I think he did an ESPN segment today. I didn't watch it, but they sat down and talked with him about the Warriors, making a run at a title again. And I mean, they got a good shot. They get Draymond back, get him healthy. They're a team to beat. I mean, it's a two-headed dragon in the West, I feel like, with Golden State and Phoenix, but definitely a great performance by Steph. And the best part about it is he announced beforehand, he is from Akron, born and raised, and
same
he was
hospital
doing
as LeBron.
And he's doing he was playing for charity. So every point he scored was like $1,000 donation. Every three was $3,000. And then if he won MVP, it was like $10,000 or something like that. So I think it ended up being like $110,000 or $120,000 that he ended up donating. So that's nice to see too. But then also, just because he's my guy, LaMelo Ball, man, had a nice little rookie All-Star performance, 18 points. I saw somewhere he played the same amount of minutes and scored the same amount of points that Kobe did in his first All-Star game.
And he was in there late too. He was in there
down the stretch. Yeah, I texted you guys during that, man. He was in there in the fourth quarter. So that was nice to see. So he's doing big things, man. I told you, in the next 3 years, he's going to be he's going to be up there mentioning about being one of the guys in the face of the league. You know, he's going to be a top 3 point guard.
Yep.
A do-it-all guy. I don't know if he's going to carry the Hornets anywhere, but he's going to need some help. But he'll definitely be a top guy in this league.
I'm with it, Zay.
Yeah, and of course, Steph Curry was the best performance. But I'm going with the underdog from somebody in their first All-Star weekend who I feel performed well. And that's Darius Garland, the guy from the 219. He actually put on a pretty solid show in the game. You know, given being around all these stars and not really knowing, or you know, from a fan not really knowing what to expect, it was pretty cool to see him go out there and just ball out. And he, in 24 minutes, had 13 points and 3 assists and shot 42% from the 3. So, you know, hats off to him. That's my performer because, you know, especially with as big of names that were involved in the All-Star weekend, it's like, wow. You know, if you could go out there and put on even a quarter of a show at an efficient rate, I mean, you're an all-star for a reason, but, you know.
Yeah, then you really separate yourself. You know what I mean? Because we're talking the best in the world, which I totally agree with, man. So a lot of really, really, really good performances last weekend in the All-Star weekend. We wanted to highlight that because, again, I mean, we've been off for a few days, but we got to show love to those guys that have been doing their thing and, you know, did really well, and probably the biggest weekend outside of, you know, any weekend you have in the playoffs or the finals. I just think for your casual fan, most people are watching that. Like my mama would probably be watching the All-Star weekend at some point, you know. So that's that. Let's get to these mid-season awards. I'm really excited about this. So I want to jump right into this. We will do again. These are our mid-season awards. Clearly not official. I'm sure whatever we choose, these probably will end up being the picks, right? We just have like this ability to predict the future, I would say. So I think some of these picks will actually come to fruition. Let's do this. Do you guys want to start with MVP, the biggest award?
Yeah, I think
sure.
I think why not? We don't want to hold off on the MVP. So so the top guys at MVP, I mean, I think we know all the names. I don't want to go first. I want to allow one of you guys to go first.
I'll start it. That's fine.
Okay. DG.
All right.
Do it.
So, first of all, I think this is a tough award this year. It's probably one of the toughest in the last couple of years, because it kind of depends on what you or how high you rank different things like team success, stats, plus minus, how much you mean to your team. If you were off your team, how would that affect them? So depending on where you place value, I feel like that is going to determine your mid-season pick and your final season pick. But after evaluating everything, I got to go with the Joker. I got to go with Jokic. He had I think it's gone down a little bit, but when I was looking these stats up, he had a 32.66 PER, which would, if he finished with that, would be first all time and player efficiency rating. He leads his team in all categories. 26 points per game leads his team. 14 rebounds a game leads his team. 8 assists a game leads his team. 1.3 steals a game and 1 block a game leads his team. And he's doing this with no Jamal Murray all year. He's only had Michael Porter Jr. for 9 games this season, which I think they're trying to get him back. I thought I saw something he might be getting back before the playoffs, but they're sitting at 6th in the West right now. And, you know, that's pretty good. The West is a pretty good, you know, you got Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis is 3rd, Utah is 4th, Dallas is 5th, and then the Nuggets are 6th right now, and they're 3 games back out of 4th. So that's not too bad for missing, you know, Jamal Murray's an all-star caliber player. Michael Porter Jr. was on his way to being, a great third option. So I feel like he's doing everything he can to keep them afloat. And in the West, it's tough. I mean, we see it with, the Clippers and the Lakers. It's not easy to win in the West. So
it's a gauntlet.
So that's my pick right now. I don't think you can go wrong with probably 3 or 4 different guys. But
let's see where Zay goes with his. Let's see.
The Joker. Yeah. That'd be back to back too, right?
It would be back to back. Correct.
My unbiased opinion. At this point in the NBA season, Demar Derozan is the mid-season MVP.
Chicago basketball.
The reason why I say, he's led the Bulls to now 9-22, averaging 28 points a game. 5 rebounds, 5 assists. His player efficiency rating is 24.87, which places him at 8th in the league. Mm-hmm. And he was not expected to do any of this. There was a point where he had 35 plus
35 point, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
35 point games in a row.
He is playing, and this was happening against Phoenix. He had 38. And then, the other teams is so
everybody was getting buckets. It didn't matter what city you were from. You were getting buckets.
Yes. And he was on a revengeance tour, and he is my MVP. All hail Chicago basketball.
All hail Chicago basketball team. And the DeMar DeRozan. Those 2 picks, you guys can't go wrong with them at all. And they're definitely the consensus. They're in the consensus top 3, top 4, top 5 names that you hear. I'm going to go someone different. I'm going to go with the big man for the 76ers who went crazy today. And I chose this even before he had a game, that he had today, which I actually think he shot 27 free throws, which is crazy against the Knicks today. But again, that just shows you his true dominance. You either got to hack him or he going to get a bucket. Straight up. So I'm going with Joel Embiid. Right now, the Sixers, they're 3rd in the East standings, 35 wins, 23 losses. He has the highest usage rate in the NBA. So he is the most used player in the NBA, and we talking about somebody that is a 7'3" giant. You normally don't get that. Normally you get that from a point guard. But clearly, 76ers, Doc Rivers, they believe in him. I think that usage rate may go down a little bit, and I actually think James Harden joining the team, may hurt his candidacy a small amount.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, man. But just to this, it does, man. Because, James Harden, what did he have today? He had a triple-double and he had 16 assists. So most people, most voters, they're going to look at that the last 25, 30 games. They're going to look, hey, well, he did have James Harden. Perception plays a lot into this.
What if they finish first in the East, though?
If they finish first in the East and Joel continues this, to me, that's his only way of winning the MVP. If everything stays the same, they must finish first in the East because they need to be able to leapfrog Chicago and Miami.
Because here's my thing. This is my thing. And I thought about it at first. I thought it might hurt him a little bit. But I think he's still going to get his, And I think Harden's even going to probably increase that a little bit.
Bro, they look sexy together, straight up.
Yeah, and you can't double Embiid. They start getting Embiid and Harden off the pick and roll. That's going to be dangerous.
Tyrese Maxey still playing. Yep.
Now Embiid can kick it out to Harden, get assists. So it might keep his stats the same or improve them a little bit. Plus team success.
I don't play NBA 2K much, but if I was playing NBA 2K, that'd be the first team I select. Straight up, the Sixers with those 2 guys. But again, Embiid, he's able to lead his team number 1 in the East, the top overall seed in that side of the standings. He continues his usage rate, which again is number 1 in the NBA. And while being number 1 in usage rate, he's 3rd in PER behind Giannis and behind the Joker. So you talking about the highest usage rate with the 3rd highest PER. That's saying a lot. All right. And then he's averaging 29 points a game. He's leading the league in that. 4.5 assists a game, 11 rebounds per game, 1 steal, 1 block per game. And he's shooting 49% from the field, 37% from 3. We talking about a 7'3" big man that can stretch in and do it all. And if you hack the man like the Knicks did today, he's shooting 81% from the line. So, and also on top of that, we talk about the flip side, right? There's not just offense, there's defense. He's the 4th overall player in defensive rating at 104.5. He's only behind Jared Allen, Nikola Jokic, Evan Mobley. So that's saying a lot. My second pick right now, if I had to go with it, I'm going with you, Zay. I agree there, DeMar DeRozan. But there are a lot of really good picks. We haven't mentioned him. How do you guys feel about Giannis winning this award, which would be his 2nd award in 3 years?
I think, he's having a great year. Don't get me wrong, but that's the thing. So many, like, if that's the case, LeBron would win it every year. Not this year, right. But so many of the years he was in Miami and Cleveland. Mm-hmm. The Bucks are sitting in 5th in the East right now, and they've been more healthy than any team ahead of them, minus Cleveland. So, if you look at the East right now, Miami's been battling injuries. Chicago's been battling injuries. They're the top 2. Sixers, not really injuries, but, no Simmons, that whole drama situation. And then Cleveland above them. Milwaukee, they really haven't had many injuries. And they're sitting at 5th right now. They're defending champs, maybe a little hangover from the championship. But he's having a great year. But compared to some of those other guys, I just don't think you can give it to Giannis.
And I disagree with that.
I tend to disagree too, only because, and I'll let you get to your point, Zay, but if you look at stats, and I know you're not just mentioning stats, and I understand it, right? Voter fatigue is another thing where you just feel like, well, he just won it 2 years ago. We can't just give it to him every year, even though he probably deserves it. He's one of those 3 guys right now that he could, if he wins the award, he is deserving of it. But if you look at his stats compared to 2 years ago, they're better than what they were. And again, I know it's not all about stats, but Zay, go for it.
Yeah, and it's not all about stats, and I think it's a lot to do with the situation you're around. Giannis' situation he's around is pretty horrific, or not horrific, but you take Giannis out of that picture, and it's like
Chris Middleton.
Yeah, NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
But you take Giannis out of that picture, they are nowhere near any conversation on winning anything in the East. And that says a lot because it's the Eastern Conference. But
could you say that about the Sixers, though? You could say that about the Sixers.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
You could. But Giannis, the element he provides to that team is just, and he's won a championship with that team already. True. So that
he has shown that he really is the MVP. He's shown that he won the championship as the best player. Yeah. It's tough because it can be a toss up again with all these guys, and we mentioned it. If any of these guys win the award, you couldn't go cry about spoiled milk saying, well, that guy shouldn't have won it. No, you talking about Embiid, Nikola Jokic, who again has better stats than probably both of those guys we just mentioned. You talk about Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, and even DeMar DeRozan. Like, they have a great case. I even think a player who will be my most improved player, and we can parlay this conversation into the next one, Moran. He even has a chance. You talking about the Western Conference, which quote unquote is a tougher conference. The things he has done has been tremendous. So let's get right into the most improved. I really like you guys' MVP picks. I'd be excited to see where it all lands at the end of the year. And I think we'll end up making, we'll make updates to these picks as it goes. But let's go to the most improved player. And I just hit on him, Moran. You talking about making an improvement and making a leap from year 1 and 2 all the way to year 3. If you talk about his stats this season compared to his stats overall the last 2 seasons and the jump he's made from 1 and 2 to year 3, these are the jumps. He's going up 8 points in points per game. He's going up from 18 points a game to 26 points per game this year. He was career 4 rebounds per game before this year. He has jumped at 2 rebounds per game. Now he's at 6. He went from 5.5 free throw attempts per game. Now he's at 7 attempts per game. So he's attacking the rim even more. And this is for a Memphis team that, I just read the stat, they have the most paint points in the NBA. And it makes sense. You talking about a guy like Moran, who reminds me a lot of arguably my favorite player of all time. And I got 3. Let me go through this because I want to make sure y'all know this. My favorite players all time, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Allen Iverson. Those are my favorite players of all time. Ja Morant reminds me of Allen Iverson a lot, right? He can get to the free throw line. He's going to be in the paint. And it doesn't matter how slight, how small, how frail you think he is. He's going to be in that paint. He's going to be attacking those bigs. So you go from 5.5 career free throw attempts. You jump that all the way to 7 in year 3 for Ja Morant. Then he's going from 49% career shooter to 53% in effective field goal percentage. And he's also shooting, on top of that, he's shooting 5 more shots than he did in his first 2 years per game. So, and he makes about half of those. He makes about 10 field goals per game. He shoots 20. So his attempts have gone up, yet his field goal percentage has also gone up. So that's pretty good. And I got a second and third choice. My second choice would be your boy, Mr. 219, Darius Garland. And then number 3 would be my Michigan man, Miles Bridges. So how y'all feel about that, man? Well, my man Ja Morant winning most improved player. If he don't win MVP, he got to get something there.
I saw it coming in. I figured one of us would have him. This is probably actually the
toughest one.
This is the category that I probably did the most research and probably switched the most guys on. Right away I wanted to pick Ja, but I wanted to find somebody kind of less known, somebody who wasn't, because Ja, I mean, he's having a great year, MVP year this year, but he was a great player last year, Mm-hmm. So I wanted to find someone who was kind of less on the radar. I also thought about LaMelo Ball, but I was like, he was, he got injured last year, but he's still having a great year. Won Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year, right.
So the guy that I went with is DeJounte Murray from the Spurs.
That's your guy. Yeah, he's been balling, man. I really like his game, bro. Yes.
If you look, and I know he plays on a Spurs team that doesn't have a lot, and they're 12th in the West right now, 13 games under 500. But if you look at his stats, he balls out. So compared to last year, he's up 4 points per game. He's up 1 rebound per game. He's up 4 assists per game. Right now, he's putting up 20 points, 8.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists. He's second in the league in triple doubles with 12 triple doubles behind Jokic, who has 16. He has 30. He has 30 double doubles. He leads the league in steals at 2 steals a game. So I mean, he's way under the radar, man. It'd be nice to see him traded to a team that could use him, because he's never going to be the go-to guy. He's probably never going to be the first option guy. But if you had him as a point guard, if the Lakers had him,
I would love him. Yeah.
If the Lakers had him,
I'm with you on that. Yep.
Wow. I mean, he's a stud.
Yep.
Made the All-Star team this year, so
yeah, he made the All-Star, and in that All-Star game, he was going crazy in that All-Star game. He was playing a bunch of minutes, and in his last game, BG, talking about DeJounte, he's had, what did he have against the Wizards a couple nights ago? He had 31 points, 13 rebounds, 14 assists, another triple double, which now he leads the league. You said
he leads triple double. No, he's second. He's second behind Jokic.
Yeah. But look at that, man. You talking about 30? He can score the ball, he can rebound it, and he can assist it. You know what I mean?
And
he's long and he plays defense.
Yeah, he's 17th in PER at 22 and a half a game. So I mean, he's a quiet star for sure. He's another. I mean, a lot of young guys in the league are up and coming.
Say, who you got?
Yeah, so Ja Morant was definitely my first choice. And then, but if there was a second, and this is like another unbiased pick, I definitely would say Darius Garland, because he not only is performing better himself, but I think with him being the point guard, he's allowed his team to perform more confidently. Just 2 years into the NBA, and last year being a COVID year, so he's at 20 points per game, and he's averaging 8 assists per game. So it's nearly a double-double. You take out some of the games, or not take out any of the games, but just his performance this year, and he's doing this through, he hasn't played a full NBA season yet. So he's gonna continue developing. Once his turnover number gets down, then you can instantly put him in. Well, obviously you got to add another piece to that team, but you could easily put him in the top 100 or top 50 active players in the league at that point. Yeah. And I'm not really saying that from like, obviously he was an NBA All-Star, but from the perspective of just career-wise, like how Ja Morant, he jumped. Like Ja Morant is literally the top, like instantly I think of him as the top 20 player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And Darius Garland, Darius Garland, he keeps developing at this point and stays healthy, he'll be able to get there as well.
All right, cool. So you have Garland, I got Ja Morant, and then for you, BG, you have DeJounte. Yeah, you just went through that. All right, cool. All right, do you guys have any other picks for most improved that you were considering? I know you talked LaMelo Ball for you, BG. One guy I was considering, I mentioned him.
Desmond?
Desmond Bain, no. Actually, he's going up. I know these stats. He is like third this year in a point per game jump from last year. I think he's going up like 8.5 points per game, which was next to his teammate Ja Morant and then one other player. So the Grizzlies have two players that have made the biggest jumps in points per game from last year to this year, which is impressive. But I got to go with Miles Bridges, man. Got to go with Miles Bridges for the Hornets. I think he's been doing his thing, so I definitely wanted to just shout him out. He's been a double-double machine. He's really been that player for the Hornets that they've been able to count on, which is really nice to see. All right, let's do Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, no one wants to talk about defense. No one cares about defense. Everybody want to see the dunks, the highlights, the yada yada. But we got to talk about the defenders. I don't really have many stats for the guy that I'm choosing. It's kind of, I had a list of guys that, are kind of, well-known names in this category. But the guy I'm going with, and it's shown, it's been evident in the way his team has played while they've been missing him. And you talk about what they've been missing. I'm watching this Dallas and the Golden State game right now. Golden State has just given up a 19-1 run. And I don't think that's ever happened when they had this man in, which is Draymond Green. He was my Defensive Player of the Year. Tough part with him is that if he ends up missing too many games, that's going to hurt him for this award. But if I had to choose it right now, mid-season award for Defensive Player of the Year, I am going with the one and only Draymond Green. Shout out another Michigan athlete.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. And it's crazy because I was looking up stats defensively, blocks. There's not many defensive stats you can look up: blocks, steals, defensive rebounds, I guess. But just Draymond, just the way that
he commands the floor on that side, man. You can see it.
He's the key to their championship runs. I mean, he really is. You need a guy like that on your team, a guy that does not care about offensive stats, even though offensively he's kind of like the point guard out there. But he's a stud on the defensive end. He can guard anybody. He can get out in pick and roll situations. He can switch onto a guard. He bangs down low, even though he's not tall. Was he 6'6"? I think.
Yeah, something like
about
that. 6'6", right.
So he's not that tall. He's a gritty guy. He's one of the few guys in the league that likes to get gritty and kind of in your face. That kind of defensive player.
It's the Michigan way, man.
Yeah, 100%. So I think he's one of the most versatile defensive players in the league. That's why I went with him. If this guy was healthy, Miles Turner would be my pick. I mean, Miles Turner's second in the league this season in most blocks, total blocks, and he's played half the year. I mean, if he was healthy, he'd be killing the league in blocks. He was averaging 2.8 blocks per game when he went out. And he's another guy that can, defend. He can get out there. He's not as good as Draymond as guarding perimeter guys, but he can do, he can hold his own. But he's a rim protector. He's a guy that you actually think of as, that inside the paint rim protector. So if Miles Turner was healthy, I'd go with him. But right now it's Draymond Green, even though Draymond isn't healthy either, I guess. He's just such an important piece to that team that I kind of almost took an MVP approach to it. If you take him off that team, their total defense is way down. So so that's why I picked him.
For me, I'm gonna go off the cuff, a name people really don't hear that often, but Mccall Bridges on the Suns. This guy, he consistently, and although he's a player that nobody really hears his name, a lot of the time he's guarding the Zach LaVines, and he's guarding LeBron, and he's guarding those guys, but people don't realize it because he obviously isn't the star player on that team.
He's an unsung hero.
Yes,
for sure. Yes,
he is. But his IQ and being able to, you could tell probably in the scouting room, he's probably leading the scouting sessions with the way he's able to read plays. I think he's put himself in the best situations, and he's a leader on the defensive end too. So I definitely go with him.
I love that.
And a couple of other players. I think we can't really look too far past Giannis as one of the best defenders in the NBA. With how long and athletic he is, that presents such a crazy matchup. Like, imagine having to come down the court and see 6'11" just waiting there, and knowing he can move just as fast as you, and all that good stuff. But and his blocks have went down his blocks are about the same as his career, but still, he just presents a very unique factor. And then one more name that I think we should all think of is Jaren Jackson off of the Grizzlies. And he leads the NBA in blocks. And he averages 2 a game. And just in general, the Grizzlies, they are 15-1 when he has 3 blocks or more. So, that's a crazy stat. And that he's another person that I hadn't really paid attention to that much. But just doing my research on the best defensive players in the NBA, I mean, you can't overlook the leading shot blocker in the NBA, because these guys are athletic. I was watching Ja Morant get up shots over Demar Derozan, whose head was at the top of the backboard the other day.
It is always funny when you see guys, when you actually truly sit back and you see guys actually score. It's like, how are they scoring in the NBA? Like, how are you able to do that, especially when you're a smaller guy? And then when you talk about on the defensive side, just some of these freak athletes, it goes back to that. You're like, how are people able to score on Giannis? How are they able to score on Draymond? Like, how are they able to score on Jared Allen? Mccall Bridges. And you talk about Mccall Bridges, I remember him last year. I'm a big Lakers fan. He was locking down LeBron in the playoffs. He started turning LeBron into a mere mortal. That's what it started to look like. So, he's a long athlete. He's one of those guys that won in college. He's won in the NBA. He's just a winning player. You need guys like him. All right, let's try to speed this up through these next few awards, mid-season awards that we have for you here at the Coach T NBA show with BG and Zay. I got to go with 6th Man of the Year award. And for my choice, and what's funny is that I almost geared a lot of these awards outside the MVP to Cleveland Cavaliers players, because Defensive Player of the Year, I consider Jared Allen. Most Improved Player, I consider Darius Garland. Rookie of the Year, I think that will go to an actual Cavs player, which we'll hit on next segment. But for my 6th Man of the Year, I got to go with Kevin Love. Yeah, I could go with Tyler Hero, I'm sure. I guarantee BG has Tyler Hero. I almost guarantee he does. I think that's the consensus pick. But I wanted to show love to, no pun intended, Kevin Love, because he's played 50 of the team's 58 games. You guys remember, he was on a hiatus for the last about 3 years. You felt like he never played. And this year, he's played in a great majority of his team's games. He's only started 2 of those games. He has a 16.5 PER on 26% usage. He's averaging 14 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. You know he's going to give you the rebounds, the points. 2 assists a game, shooting 42% from the field, 40% from 3, and he's 85% from the line. So he doesn't start the games, of course. That's why he's 6th Man of the Year candidate. But he's playing in the games. He's playing a lot of minutes. And at the end of the day, I think he's one of the main reasons, one of the culprits why the Cavs have had such a great year, because they've been able to lean on a true veteran, a true NBA champion like Kevin Love, who, you know, you look up a year or 2 ago, most people thought he would be off that team, thought he would maybe be bought out, thought that maybe he would ask out, thought that he would maybe be traded. But no, man, he stuck to his guns. He stayed with the Cavs, and lo and behold, you look where he's at. So I wanted to show love to Kevin Love, who was my mid-season 6th Man of the Year award winner.
Yeah, you spoiled it, T. I'm going to go with Tyler Hero for
Yes,
sure. I mean, how can you not, dude? I mean,
it's hard not to. It's hard.
The Miami Heat are, and I'm gonna get into the Miami Heat a little bit more because I got another pick coming their way. But you know, they've been battling injuries. Tyler Hero, though, he's only started 10 games all year. He's averaging 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So he's such a, I mean, he's one of the best shot makers in the league. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like a Devin Booker, just not as good as Devin Booker, but same type of player.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in that mold, same type of player. And, you know, if you watch this guy's, you know, if you watched him coming up from high school, and I know at Kentucky he didn't have the year he wanted to stats-wise because, I mean, Kentucky was loaded with talent, but he's a confident dude, and he'll let you know. He'll talk to the crowd a little bit. I like that swagger that he has. But yeah, he's my 6th Man of the Year right now.
Yeah, and for me, I'm gonna go with a player who, and I'm kind of making this pick off the first part of the year, but I'm making it more so on the trade that happened and what it's gonna do to his role and how important it'll be. So Tyrese Maxey on the Philadelphia 76ers. So he's averaging right now 17 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists off the bench. But now his role is going to be even more magnified, being that he has an NBA championship caliber team. So I think if he can continue to step up with the way he's playing, he's had 20 points in the last 2 games. And even before then, he's been balling, you know, last 10 games. If he continues to step up, that's going to be important for that team. And he would definitely be a 6th Man of the Year candidate if the 76ers finish out this year strong.
I love it, man. We got some different players, some different guys. And to me, this 6th Man of the Year category is another category where it's really tough, man. Like I can see a lot of guys, you know, first of all, you got to find a guy that technically is not a true day in and day out starter. And there are a lot of those guys, of course, right? And then you got to find a guy that, even though he's not a starter, he's almost got to play starter minutes and be effective towards the end of the game. This team has to be counting on him to actually pull out wins. Another guy I had, because Tyler Hero was my second pick. Zay, I mean, your guy with Tyrese Maxey, like that's a low key name. A lot of people don't know, man, but he's definitely been balling, man. You see him the last couple weeks of this season, he's been going crazy. Like I think he's played with a lot more confidence. And if you actually watch their games, I remember the first game that they were back, talking about the 76ers. This is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm gonna go on it. Where James Harden was traded to the Sixers. It was a TV game. They showed James Harden coaching Tyrese Maxey on the side, talking to him about, you know, hey, this is how you finish the play. This is what you need to do off the pick and roll, yada, yada. And that was a game where I think Tyrese Maxey had 30 plus points. It was against the Bucks. That's who it was. And like, I think he's really going to benefit from James Harden being on that team. And of course, playing with James Harden and Joel Embiid, which I think he's going to end up being that 3rd best player and probably the outside of the superstars for the Sixers. I think he's going to end up being that X factor, right? You would think maybe Tobias Harris is going to be the X factor. No, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be that guy for the Sixers. A guy that I had up there as well for Sixth Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson. You know, we know what he's done. He's kind of been in that role for a long time. So I'm intrigued to see how he finishes the year too with the Utah Jazz. All right, what do we have? 2 more. Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. I want you guys to guess who I have for Rookie of the Year. I kind of gave it away earlier. We probably
Evan
all
Mobley.
have this guy. Evan Mobley. Yes. Evan Mobley. Who else has Evan Mobley? Anybody else?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Zay, you have Evan Mobley?
Yeah, I was thinking about him, but I have my backups because I hate being on the same page as you guys.
Okay. All right. So, I like it. So, Tyrese Maxey was your Sixth Man of the Year. So, let me see. Rookie of the Year will be, for me, Evan Mobley. Yes. All right. I thought this was going to be a consensus pick. This is one that, honestly, is the easiest pick. But again, I like how you guys are thinking outside the box. So, Evan Mobley has started every game he has played this year for the Cavs. Number 2 pick, number 3 pick. It went Kay Cunningham with my Pistons. Number 2 was Jalen Green, and number 3 was Evan Mobley. I think it was. All right. 18.9 PER on 20.1 usage rate. He's averaging 34 minutes a game, 15 points per game on 50% shooting, 2.5 assists per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 1 block per game. You talking about a rookie in his first year as a big man, and he can do it all. He can play defense. That's what I love about it. He can play defense. He can finish inside. He can stretch out a little bit. I think that part of his game will continue to improve. Honestly, he kind of reminds me a lot of Chris Bosh in a way, you know, and we know the things he's done. And again, he started every single game thus far in his rookie year, and he's doing, again, 15 points a game, 50% shooting, 8 rebounds, a block a game, you know, playing 34 minutes a game. So I got to give it to that young man who's wasn't a number 1 pick, but he's certainly playing like he should have been a number 1 pick.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great pick. Obviously, can't go wrong there. He'll probably end up winning it for a lot of reasons, but I went with another guy that I love. I talk about him a lot on here, I feel like, or at least enough, is Josh Giddy. I went with Josh Giddy. He's averaging 12.5 points a game, 8 rebounds, 6.5 assists. He's got 4 triple-doubles on the year, which is tied for 8th. He's tied with, and these are the guys ahead of him in triple-doubles. And I know triple-doubles is kind of a random stat. It doesn't always showcase skill level, but it's good to be in this category that I'm about to mention. So he's got 4 on the year. He's tied for 8th with Giannis and LeBron. And then LaMelo has 5. Sabonis has 5. Luka has 9. James Harden has 9. Russell Westbrook has 9. DeJounte Murray has 12. And Jokic has 16. So, I mean, all of those guys that I, mentioned above him, LaMelo and DeJounte are the only guys who aren't probably Hall of Famers, at some point, or at least not yet.
Yeah, right,
so,
right.
I mean, that's good category to be with, good company to keep.
Great company to be with.
His PER is only 13.74, but I feel like that does have a lot to do with him being
on. He plays for OKC.
He plays for OKC, and they're not winning as many games as Cleveland is. So he's another great point guard, shooting guard that I think could do really well on a championship caliber team.
And I think he's gonna start. He has already started to play well at the right time too. Like, I think a lot of the Rookie of the Year award, it's either you start hot and that just propels you the entire time, even if someone's starting to creep in. To me, he's kind of taken the second half of this year and he's kind of put his name on the map, similar to my guy Franz Wagner, where he's kind of taken, again, second half of the year, kind of put his name on the map from a guy that a lot of people necessarily did not know outside of diehard NBA fans. So I think Josh Giddey is putting himself on the map, and I like his game, man. I like him a lot. Zay, Rookie of the Year, season award. Who you got?
I love both of you all's picks. I think Evan Mobley will definitely win it hands down. But just to be the devil as advocate, I will go with Hey yo!
Hey yo!
From the Bulls. Hey, my guy, he stepped into a situation where he like being called on on this team with the way they're performing at a high level and still having to be an impact player is impressive. This guy was drafted in the second round and he was the 38th pick. Like he wasn't coming in like with high expectations, but nevertheless, it was a game where against OKC, he actually played 42 minutes with injuries and stuff. He's been getting 30 minutes a game, and that's pretty impressive. So right now he's averaging in his last 10 games 36 minutes. He's averaging 8 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. But I think where he stands out most is his leadership. As a rookie, he's not afraid to conversate with veterans. He's not afraid to admit when he did something bad. He keeps everybody's spirits high, and that's a team player that everybody would want to have on their team. And he showed that at Illinois too. So I definitely Evan Mobley, don't get me wrong, Evan Mobley is the best rookie in the NBA. But if something drastic happened, I think AO would be right there with him.
Yeah, and again, I think between AO and Josh Giddy, if you're a fan of those franchises, you can be really happy that you got those players at a discounted rate coming into the rookie year. Because again, they weren't top 5 picks. They weren't even top 10 picks. They were, you're talking about AO, he's a second round pick. And he may end up being a cornerstone if Chicago Bulls get to where most fans hope they get to it over the next couple of years, which is a championship. BG.
I think Giddy ended up going 6.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Giddy went 6.
All right. Good,
so it was Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes would be a nice pick too for the Raptors. Jalen Suggs, Josh Giddy, Kuminga, Franz Wagner, Davion Mitchell, and Zaire Williams were the top 10.
Yeah. Okay. Nice
Chris
little top 10, man.
Chris Dorte too was having a good year. He was 13.
Yeah. It's a nice little rookie class, man. All right, let's wrap it up, man. We are coaches, so let's shout out the coaches. Mid-season coach of the year. I will begin here. I feel like I'm going with chalk again, but I got to go with the coach that last year his team went. Now again, a truncated schedule last year, so you don't have as many games during that COVID year. But 70 total games, his team won 30% of them. They went 20 wins and 50 losses, which was good for third to last in the East. They were absolutely terrible. That's why they were able to pick third this year in the NBA draft. He's flipped it around this season. He has doubled his win percentage from 30% wins last year to 60% wins last year, which is good for fourth in the East right now at 35 wins, 23 losses. I'm talking about JB Bickerstaff of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Shout out to you.
Oh, that's a great pick. I figured that'd be the consensus pick. Him or I'm sure we know where Zay is going with this pick. But I'm going to go, honestly, I debated this one too, but I ended up deciding on Eric Spoelstra for the Miami Heat. And the reason why is with all these heavy contenders in the East, you're talking about, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, they're supposed to be, heavy. It was supposed to be.
The Heat are a quiet, kept secret.
Yeah, the Knicks were, everyone expected the Knicks. They finished 4th last year. They expected the Knicks to be up there again. Celtics, they have those 2 guys, Tatum and Brown. The 76ers, the Bulls are creeping up, but Miami Heat are sitting at 1st in the East right now with a record of 40-21. They got the 4th best win percentage overall behind Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis. And they've played 61 total games. Jimmy Butler's only played 40 and Bam Adebayo's only played 34. So you're missing your 2 best players for a third of the season and you're still sitting at 1st in the East. And I know they got Kyle Lowry. And they got, my pick for 6th man of the year. And it's just the culture that he has there. Any other team, you talk about any other team, if DeRozan goes down, I know the Bulls are missing Levine and Caruso, but if DeRozan and Levine go down, I'm sorry, Lonzo and Caruso. But if DeRozan and Levine go down, the Bulls aren't sitting at 2nd in the East. If Joel Embiid goes down, the Sixers aren't sitting at 3rd in the East. If Cleveland loses Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, or whoever their top 2 guys are, whoever you would consider, they're not sitting where they are. So Miami Heat losing their 2 best guys for a third of the year, and most of those games they were both out at the same time, and they're still sitting where they're at. I mean, that just speaks honors to the culture they have there and to what Eric Spoelstra's doing.
Eric Spoelstra, who recently was named a top 15 coach of all time. So you can never go wrong with Coach Spoelstra, who started in the film room, by the way. Started as a film director or film cut-up guy for the Heat, and now look at him. One of the greatest 15 coaches of all time, voted by his peers. So I respect that young man, that old man, that veteran man. I respect him. Zay, who you got? Let me guess. I already typed it here. I don't know if you can see this. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Billy Donovan.
No, is that correct?
No.
But you guys know, and that's how I know you guys are my friends, because that I was thinking that, and I really was. But and hats off to the Bulls. But as a fan, I expect them to be that good.
Oh, I see.
Here we go.
As a fan going into each season, I'm not sitting here like, oh, I hope the Bulls, I hope they're the best team in the NBA. No, like, I want them to be the best team in the NBA. So It's like I want whatever situation happens to be the best outcome. But hats off to Billy Donovan for turning that program around. But I have to give all my props to Monty Williams of the Phoenix Suns. This is year 2, or he's been there for some time, but back-to-back years, they are in the conversation for the best team in the NBA. And it's really 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
They by far, they obviously have the best record, but you take away the best record, they have dominated the Western Conference, which is like really unheard of since like the Kobe and Shaq days. They're 29-9 in the Western Conference, which is by far the best record. And their point differential is 7.7 points, so almost 8 points they are beating teams by. And this is overall on the whole season. That is impressive. Granted, they're on a 2-game losing streak, but these guys, they have to cool off at some point. But even then, they're competing, which I love the best. So Monty Williams is my coach for, my coach for the mid-season coach of the year.
Okay, I love it. Really good stuff, fans. We hope you guys enjoyed that. We hope you liked that. Again, we wanted to give you guys that because, again, to me, it's a lot of conversation, and probably the biggest conversation when it comes to the NBA currently is, how our team's going to finish, how are the players going to finish, who's going to be where, who's doing the best. Obviously, just coming off of the All-Star weekend, we just had a collection of 24 quote unquote our best players. So it makes sense to go through these awards right now. We're going into crunch time, nut cutting time, we like to call it, of the NBA season. About 25% of the season is left. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see how our picks actually fare. So speaking of picks, let's round out this show. Let's wrap it up with just a couple of picks. I don't want to give too many, but we got a couple of games in mind. The first game we'll talk about is Friday, March 4th, and this is a 7:30 Eastern tip-off on ESPN, and this is between the Bucks and the Bulls. A nice little Eastern Conference battle right here. I do not have the line for this game. Again, we're almost a week out, about 5 days out, but how do you guys feel about this game, the Bucks and the Bulls? Who do you have winning and why? Zay, I'll let you start because I already know who you're going to choose.
And I'm going to pick the Bulls. I think they're starting to click again. Obviously, injuries hurting, but I think the Bulls, they understand it's go time. Chicago, they got the city of Chicago on their back. They disappointed the city with the most recent game against the Grizzlies, but they know it's time to perform. It's time to perform, and you could just tell that by DeRozan. He got ejected from last game, but just that fire in him, that is contagious. And being around Chicago for so long, I think that those guys, they're hungry. They're hungry and they're ready. So Bulls in 1.
I love when you say that.
Yeah, I just don't think the Bulls have enough until they're healthy. When they're healthy, this is going to be a great matchup. I just don't know who's guarding Giannis. It's crazy because Zay's been hot with his picks, so it makes me want to pick the Bulls. But the Bulls
I think I've been pretty hot too.
Yeah, everyone but me has been hot. But the Bulls, the Bulls are at home. Chicago's been rocking this year with their team.
We need to catch a game, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe Coach Brown can join us. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But DeRozan's going to have to go off in this game, which he has been lately. So it's possible. I think it's a tight game, but I think Giannis and the Bucks pull this out.
Yeah, you know what? You got the Bucks. Zay has the Bulls. I'm going to rock with the home team. I'm going to go with the Bulls as well. I don't know what I'm too lazy to even look up the previous matchups between these two teams, but I would imagine this year they probably played a couple times. They probably have split it. That's just my guess. But this being an ESPN game and the fact that the Bulls are at home against a team they are somewhat familiar with, and if they ain't familiar with them yet, they better get familiar with them if they want to reach all their goals, their dreams, their aspirations of this year, because they're going to have to see the Bucks in the playoffs. So this would be a nice little win for the Bulls to pull off, to kind of stake their claim to say, hey, we're here, and if we happen to see you in the playoffs, Bucks, we feel like we can beat you guys like we did in the regular season. So I'm going with the Bulls, and I'm going with DeMar DeRozan. I know he's getting a 30-piece. And Levine, I know he's going to give me about 25. Vucci, man, he's going to give me a double-double. Hey, yo! Let's see what he does. And Billy Donovan, man, I think he coaches, has a nice little game plan for the Bucks. And again, shows them that they ain't nothing to be played with when it comes to the Bulls. So I'm rocking with the home team here on ESPN Friday nights. And again, this is a Friday night game. So you guys know how my psychology, I know I'm weird with that. This is a Friday night game. Everybody just got paid. Everybody and their mama and their kids coming out to this game. They know it's a TV game. I gotta rock with the home team here. I have to. All right, our last matchup. I told you guys we will not be doing a lot because we got a lot of Knicks games. Who cares about the Knicks? We got a lot of Lakers games. Who cares about the Lakers? We got a lot of Celtics games, and the one that we'll talk about will be the Celtics. Is this the one we talked about? The Nets and the Celtics, or do we want to do Suns and Bucks? I don't want to do a second Bucks game they've already played. So I think we do the Nets and the Celtics unless we had another game in mind. We missed the game. It was Grizzlies and Celtics on
Grizzlies
Thursday.
And Celtics, that's right.
We can talk about the Nets and the Celtics. That's a good one.
We'll do Nets and Celtics instead of Grizzlies and Celtics?
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Because you got Kyrie playing in that game. It's at Boston.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. All right. In our second matchup, and our last matchup of the week that we're going to talk about, we bringing old Kyrie back home. I want that old thing back. They say home is where the heart is, and I was in Boston when Kyrie was in Boston as well. And I don't know if a lot of love will be shown for this young man as he makes his way back into Boston Arena. So we have the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. This is a 1:00 tip-off Eastern on ABC on Sunday. I love these little matinee games. How do you guys feel about this game? And who do you have winning this matchup? Shoot.
Yeah, so just a little bit on Brooklyn. I read, of course, Ben Simmons having some back issues after trying to come back for conditioning, like he should have been conditioning this whole time, but whatever. So I doubt he'll be playing in this game. This is it's gonna be a good game. Seth Curry's playing very well. Andre Drummond's playing very well for Brooklyn. He had a nice little block on Giannis last night or tonight or today or something like that. I'm gonna go with Boston at home though. Coming out of All-Star break, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're figuring things out together. They need to make a little bit of a push here. Brooklyn needs to make a push too before Durant comes back, so they're not so far behind. But I'm gonna go with Boston. A little Duke on Duke action here. Kyrie versus Jason Tatum and Seth Curry for that matter. A lot of Duke players involved. But Boston. I'm gonna go Boston.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Boston too. I'm with BG on this one. Brooklyn, they're a suspect team. That's just suspect. It's like a concession stand that doesn't sell anything but popcorn. It's something weird.
It's a little inside joke with that one.
Yeah. So, I'm going with Boston. No explanation needed.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I think the place will be rocking. Again, it's an ABC game. A lot of fans do not like Kyrie. Now, when I say do not like, I'm probably undershooting it right there. They absolutely despise Kyrie in Boston. We know all the reasons for that. But with that being said, I got Kyrie doing some things. And that's just a couple of days ago, they beat the Bucks. When they were 10-point underdogs, they beat the Bucks. And I think that fire and the aggression and just the want to that the Nets will have outside of Kyrie, because he's going to want to win this game. But I think his teammates got the same feelings, the same sentiments. Like, they want to win this for Kyrie because they just know how fans are, and they just feel like, hey, we about to go into the Hornets' nest, so let's all kick butt for our teammate, our homeboy, which is Kyrie. So I got the Nets winning this matchup. And that's about it. I don't even know. I don't think Ben Simmons is playing yet. We know KD is still out, but I think Kyrie is enough to win this matchup back in the Boston Garden, which I think, again, this will be a game that I'll definitely be locked in, tuned in on ABC Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Kyrie and coming back to Boston. That's a little bit of a no. You know what? I am gonna change it. I'm gonna change it. I'm
about
gonna
to jinx me. Now the Nets definitely about to lose.
I'm gonna go with Brooklyn. They've been playing well, so they need it. They need this. They do. But it's me and BG versus Zay, huh? Biggest game of the week. Game of the week though is Friday.
Friday? Do we have that one?
Sectional 2, Friday night.
Oh, yes. Biggest game. Okay, yes. And by the way, so
Trojans.
Let's wrap that up. Let's wrap the show up. And I will say, shout out to our Hobart basketball family. We have our sectional matchup. We drew Portage High School. So we'll play Portage this coming Tuesday at 7:30 is the game?
7:30.
Right? It don't matter what time the game. We're going to be ready.
No, 7.
Okay. We're going to be ready for the Portage Indians, correct?
Yes.
And we're playing at their place. So it's going to be a little bit of a madhouse, but we welcome that. So shout out to our Hobart family, Coach Mike Brown, all our players. And we're looking to get a dub this coming Tuesday.
Yeah, shout out to our guys, man. This is win or go home.
Winner go home.
This is it. Last ride.
Zay, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, hey, shout out to the guys. Let's get this cracking.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up, fellas. Let's head it, man. Great job. Thank you for doing this. I'm gonna do the outro, man. From us to you, this is me, Coach T. Keep showing us love, and we'll keep bringing you that funk. Peace.